Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 40, DJI Mini 5 Pro updates and more. Hope everyone is well. We got a full house tonight. Warren is here. Jody Drone Shots, Waypoint New England, Lou Drone Angles, RJ Redding. Let's see who else we got. Brad's here. Dr. Ted is here. John Flynn, welcome. Let's see, Casey Crime Fighter, welcome, my friend. Art is here, welcome, Art. Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else we got. Johnny's here, welcome, Johnny. Good to see you. Terry Dugas is here. Let's see who else we got. Giggles FPV, Dover Drone Photography. All right, welcome, guys. Final, Sunrise, Florida. First hockey game of the year. Florida Panthers defend their Stanley Cup title by beating Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. And they're without two of their best players. So it's going to be a long season. Game one, game W-O-N, game W-O-N-E. Okay, there's my. You can take that to the bank. You heard that first on Rotor Talk Live with Bill the Drone Review. Okay, you can write that down in your books for quotes. Okay, that's a quote thing. Okay. Well, as you guys know, I have an appointment October 27th, and these temps were the basis for my permanence. They're going to fit me for the permanence on October 27th, and then they're going to make some adjustments, and then a few days later, I'm going to get them in. So probably by, I would say probably November 1st-ish, the first week in November, I'm going to get my permanent teeth. These are so much better than the first ones. Oh my gosh, it's just like night and day. It really is. I can't tell you about that. Oh, and on another note, okay. Yes, I saw that, Art. You can tell Mr. Ron Brown about that, okay? I'm sure Ron's still probably weeping and gnashing his teeth about that. What was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. All right. Okay. So, all right. Well, the thing with my teeth, okay, that's coming up. I'm going to get that handled and that taken care of. Got a lot to talk about tonight, okay? And I'll tell you about my first flight with a Mini 5 Pro, and all that kind of good stuff. There's a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime that's on sale right now. We're going to talk about that. The Neo 2, there's talk about that. We're going to go, yeah, Giggles, absolutely, 120%. That was awesome. I'll tell you what, it was like seeing them raise the banner tonight. That was just beyond awesome. I was tickled. I was beyond measure. And to have been there, and I told my wife, to have been there to see them win the Stanley Cup, okay, that was a dream come true for me back in May. I'll tell you that, or June. I'm telling you, that was just, and I had goosebumps when I saw that flag going up tonight. I really absolutely positively did. So, but anyway, all that being said, all right, got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get to some stuff here coming up in a minute. What was I going to say? I'm losing my train of thought like nobody's business. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. First time in like forever. We've had pizza, and I did Domino's, the $9 deal. Valerie really enjoyed it. Okay. I'm like, okay, yeah. I've yet to find. It used to be Domino's used to had what I thought was a turnaround and came out and it was a little bit better, but as of late, it's just like I was like, I can take it or leave it. Okay, I had a couple slices, but all right, whatever. All right. You're not here to hear me talk about pizza. You're here to hear me talk about drones. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. first off, and I know it's this is kind of out of order. This is what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Mini 5 Pro here in a little bit after Ron joins me here. But I know one of the questions that I got from a lot of you about the Mini 5 Pro was, oh, I won't be able to get accessories. I won't be able to get accessories. How can I be able to get batteries? How can I be able to get props? Let's see. The glare is too much here, but that bottom tag says it's the Mini 5 Pro. Okay. All right. Ordered both of these off of eBay. All right. Bought right at the same time. Two different sellers. And you know where the sellers were from? China. And guess what? No tariffs. I mean, no tariffs. I mean, the seller didn't absorb the tariff. There was no tariff listed when I went to the listing. I think I paid about maybe $125, $150 for the battery. I think about $40 for the props, but they were here within 2 weeks. It's expected to be like 4 weeks. I got them within 2. All right, and they're sent China Post. However they do that, but very impressed. Okay, OEM parts. I got them super easy, and I wanted to kind of talk about that for a second here. I wanted to do that before I forget. So yeah. And the other thing is this, okay, because I had a number of you, and I know a number of you have continued to ask me, where did you get your Mini 5 Pro? And also, if you take a look back there, you probably can't see it. I got the Mavic 4 Pro. I haven't opened it up and done an unboxing video on that yet, or a first flight. But there are links in the description, and I'll keep them in the last several videos that I did, okay? The Rotor Talks, you'll see them in the description, all right? The seller that I used for the Mini 5 Pro and the seller I used for the Mavic 4 Pro are listed in there. Now, just to let you know, okay, you got to go out there and check their site. They're not I want to try to level set expectations with you guys, okay? And exactly, Johnny, exactly. What you need to do with these guys, you need to look through the listings, because it mentions in the listings themselves whether or not they absorb the tariffs. They say this is tariff free, okay? Just because I've had that experience, it doesn't mean that all their items that they sell will be like that. So you need to go out there and look at. This is a huge disclaimer, and it's an FYI for you. Bill said to buy out this guy, now I'm paying tariffs. And I go, well, you know what? Bill told you you need to look at the listing before you hit the buy button, okay? All right, I'm just level set. I want to make sure we level set that. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great price, Ray. It really is. It's a great price. So I wanted to cover these two things, and I thought it's important here. And one of the other things is, I was going to save this to later, but I'm going to mention it now too. I had a question. Somebody said, talked about being able to do firmware updates. Well, DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones. I haven't used that in like forever, all right? Well, guess what? I went out there and I downloaded that from DJI, from their website, which you can do. It's out there, all right? And sure enough, I hooked up the Mini 5 Pro, got my USB cable, hooked it up to a USB port. Sure enough, guess what? You can do updates through DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones for the Mini 5 Pro. And it will also do the Mavic 4 Pro, because I know I've had some questions about from people that were asking me, hey, are we going to be able, if DJI does the band, we won't be able to download it? Yeah, you will, okay. Unless for some reason they block this, all right, you'll still have access to be able to do that. So you have two methods to be able to do it: over the air via Wi-Fi or via the DJI Assistant 2. Now, whatever you choose to do, okay. I know I did that back in the day for some updates, and it's nice to go back, because if you need to go back a version, you can do that through this. So, and there's ways to do that. So, okay, all right. John, yeah, okay. Well, if they're banned, okay, what the way I read it now, nobody really knows, John, exactly how it's going to be as far as the language is concerned of the band. But what they're trying to do is you won't be able to do. It's going forward. They won't be able to sell them. Okay, and I think they'll still let you be able to do firmware updates to your drones. Okay, so I don't think that they would stop with the firmware updates. But the DJI Assistant 2 is a second method of being able to download firmware updates. But remember, it's the DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones. That's important when you go out there and look for that. Okay, just to let you guys know. All right. Let's go here with the first article here. Now, this is on Drone DJ. There's a lot of stuff to go over tonight. So, and we got a lot to go over with the Mini 5 Pro as well, too. Okay. FAA rolls out new NOTAM platform. Drone pilots take note. Okay. Why NOTAMs matter for drone operators? For many drone pilots, NOTAMs might sound like a concern mostly for airline crews, but they're just as important for unmanned aircraft operations. A NOTAM communicates time-sensitive airspace changes such as temporary flight restrictions, event-related closures, new obstacles, or hazards. More than 4 million NOTAMs are issued every year. If you've ever flown near a stadium, wildfire, presidential movement, chances are the airspace was locked down by a NOTAM. Checking these notices before flights helps commercial drone pilots stay compliant under Part 107 and keeps recreational pilots from accidentally straying into no-fly zones. In fact, interpreting NOTAMs is a skill tested on the FAA's remote pilot knowledge exam, Part 107, underscoring their importance to safe flight planning. Okay, they have a new upgrade, streamlined, modern interface, easy navigation, and fewer headaches deciphering NOTAM codes, near real-time data exchange, faster updates, and more reliable information flow, cloud hosting, improved uptime, reduced lack of system-wide meltdowns. Scalable architecture built to handle increasing demand as more users, including drone pilots, integrate NOTAMs into their pre-flight planning apps. Okay, so you're gonna be able to access that much quicker, and especially if you are a Part 107, all right, and you're flying commercially, this is going to be very valuable to you. So you want to pay attention to that. And also, just to let you guys know, and I know the other thing I wanted to mention, okay, I'm stuck in failed Facebook prison, okay. I have no idea what I did. I think I posted something about China, all right? China, all right? And I got put in Facebook jail. And it was nothing. I mean, it was nothing controversial or anything, just some news. And boom, break out the shackles. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison here, all right? So, and that's why I haven't been able to post anything out to Facebook today. And I told you guys, and if you read out on my Facebook page, I can't type something. I can't just post any links. And I put on there, look out on X on Twitter, and I was able to do that. So if you're looking for links to articles, they're all out on X on Twitter tonight. I'm sorry, I can't get back out to Facebook until probably Thursday afternoon, I think. God only knows. But all right, that's the first one here. This next one, and the timing is incredible. Hey, how are you, Mr. Brown?
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. We're going to have Eagles Nation after Rotor Talk tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Steeler Nation was on by, but I believe everybody else in your division lost. The Steelers gained ground by not playing, right?
The Steelers gained ground and they didn't play. And we'll talk about that too. Oh my gosh. Wow. And like I started the show off, the Florida Panthers defended their Stanley Cup title. They won their first game of the season, 3-2.
Congrats.
So and without their two star players. So wanted to go over, our good friend Sean from Air Photography did an unboxing video on the GoPro Max 2. And I wanted to go ahead and take a quick peek at that. This isn't a full review. We're just taking a look at the new equipment, and I'll give you my first impressions. First, the batteries don't support quick charging. That's not a deal breaker for everybody, but I do prefer my batteries to be able to quick charge. They did upgrade to Endura batteries now, but unfortunately, quick charging is not supported. The bigger disappointment is that it's still using the GP2 processor. GP2 has been around for quite some time. I'm not sure exactly when first GoPro was released, but it's a dated chip. That's why we haven't seen some of the newer GoPros match the capabilities of more modern action cameras. It's especially disappointing that given GoPro doesn't release a new 360 camera every year. If going to be their 360 action camera for the next 3 or 4 years, would have been nice to have had a more modern chip, okay? On the positive side, the Max 2 has user replaceable lenses, even compared to something like the Insta360 X5, which also has user replaceable lenses. The Max 2 process seems much easier, but let's get into the unboxing and take a closer look here. 3 mounting options and the user replaceable lenses. Sean talked about screen and performance upgrades. Now supports 4K single lens mode. Size comparisons. Did a quick comparison against the competition. Max 2 is comparable size to the Insta360 X5. And opening up the side panel, you can access the battery compartment, USB port, and memory card slot. Okay, it sounds pretty basic right there. So that's going to remain to be seen, Ron, how that ends up working out.
Yeah, I mean, GoPro, one of the big things they touted was that they had true 8K, that they used all the pixels that were in the sensor, where their competitors over at DJI and Insta360 did not use all their pixels, so they weren't true 8K. That's GoPro's, that's their line, so
yeah,
they had that going for them. And of course, the big thing Insta360 had over DJI was the replaceable lenses, but you still had to have a tool to do it, where GoPro topped them by having anybody can just switch them with 2 fingers. You don't need any tools or equipment. So GoPro really hit the home run with that. Those easily replaceable lenses by no tools or anything.
Absolutely. Well, I've got some offers here. Captain Ray's going to send me bail money, and Johnny says he'll get me out of Facebook jail for $99. Okay, I still think I got your PayPal address there, Johnny. I'll get that to you after the show. Okay.
Or so you don't need a good lawyer, huh?
No, just Johnny. Johnny can take care of everything. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Johnny can handle that here. So, next thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and I think we briefly touched on this last week a little bit, and I'm trying to share my screen here. All right, here we go. All right, DJI Mavic 4 Pro firmware update adds seamless focal length switching and RC2 dynamic home point. Okay, you can do and for what I remember about the seamless focal length switching, you can do that in flight, which is a nice feature to be able to do that, Ron.
Well, Bill, I got a video coming out about that. I just made it Sunday, and here's how it works, Bill. You can switch between the 3 focal lengths, but when you go from 1x to like 2.5, it stops the video recording, but automatically restarts it for you at the 2.5. And then when you go from 2.5 to 6, same thing. It'll stop the recording, but then it'll restart it for you automatically when you switch. So you still get breaks in your video, but it automatically stops and starts for you, so at least you don't forget the roll the video. So I guess it's a compromise. It's probably not what people really wanted. They want to go seamless,
right,
all one recording, where you're still going to get separated files, but it stops and starts automatically for you when you switch. I tried it out. It's an improvement,
Yeah, and I would say too, if you're going to do something like that, if you're probably going in what's the not the normal mode?
You go the Explorer mode, where you could do anything you want. The only thing that's all digital. That's all digital zooming. Or if you use these focal lengths, when you're at the different focal lengths, you're optical zoom. You're not digitalized, so it's a higher performance, a higher grade video than using the Explorer mode.
Exactly.
But again, I don't knock the Explorer mode. If you're just trying to do, like, if you're a news crew or you're trying to do a newsy video where you just want to get video of something happening, you need to punch in. I mean, not everybody's what do you call it, Alfred Hitchcock or Cecil D. Mill. Not everybody's trying to shoot like a Hollywood blockbuster, right? Sometimes it doesn't matter if you lose low quality, as long as you can see what's going on.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And you made a good point as far as the switching. The video is going to stop and start, and you got to be cognizant of that fact. So I would say if you're going to be doing something like this, you may want to be going at a slower speed instead of like a normal speed. You maybe want to go a little bit slower to be able to do that, to allow it to catch up. I mean, if you want to try to incorporate that into a seamless video. It might do that, might help. I don't know. I mean, that's
that's interesting. But interesting because when I did my test, the drone was just parked in the sky and I was moving things around. I was trying to record a video, so I wasn't moving the drone when this was happening. But that's
okay.
A good thought, Bill. That's a good thought because again, I was stationary.
Yeah, they also said what they did was now they only had the dynamic home point was only on the RC. They added it was only on the RC Pro 2. They added it to the RC2 controller.
Correct.
So that's something new. And that's pretty good. I'm glad they did something.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to cover this real quick before we start getting in because there's a huge host of I had quite a few questions about it this week. People have been doing some digging, and Spatial Hover emerges as DJI's newest shell company after fixed Axio drone mysteriously migrates between websites. Okay, and you definitely want to go through and read this article. I mean, the drone looks absolutely positively familiar. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Everything. I mean, it really does. 9 companies submit DJI-based drones to FCC. Okay, Spatial Hover, Lino Dynamics, Jovistar, Fix Axio, WaveGo Tech, SZ Noack Robot Technology Company Limited, Sky High Tech LLC, Anzu Robotics. Okay, and Cogito. October. So those are all the ones there. And what's real interesting about that, Ron, is right now, like the Spectre Air and the Spectre Mini, they're not on Amazon anymore. And I haven't heard from my contact from Spectre. In fact, I'm going to email them tonight so they can get it and try to get a reply back because I'm real interested to see what they're planning on doing with that. Because, people have been asking me, are they going to be still making these drones? And I said, I don't know. You can still buy batteries right now, but that's it. There's nothing as far as the drones are concerned. So, and there's none to be found on eBay. I was out.
Bill, were they exclusively sold on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's kind of an update on that. So I wanted to do that. So let's see here. Okay. All right. We all know it's Amazon Prime Days going on right now. All right. And Amazon is having an incredible sale on drones. Okay. Just absolutely incredible. We're going to cover, there's a couple articles here. These DJI drones are 20% off your ultimate buyer guide. DJI Neo series 159 was 199. The 3 battery combo 229 was 289. The Neo Motion Fly More combo 419 was 529.
And Bill, talk about that combo a little bit more. I mean, before you go more on the next story, that looks like the incredible deal.
Yeah, that really is. The pricing on there, that's fantastic. Having the extra batteries and then also having
that includes goggles and a motion controller.
Yeah, that's
goggles are pretty. Usually, goggles cost more than that on their own.
Absolutely. But the star of the sales of the DJI Neo Motion Fly More combo, DJI RC3 Motion, DJI goggles and 3 batteries, 2-way charging hub, and essential accessories. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mini 4K, DJI Mini 4K was 239, was 299. DJI Mini 4K 2 battery plus carry bag was 309. DJI Mini 4K Fly More combo was 359. Okay. And those are some good prices right there. Now they're also talking about the Mini 3 series. The Mini 3 with RC N1 was 335. The Mini 3 with DJI RC screen remote was 439. And the Mini 3 Fly More combo with the DJI RC was 575. All right. Now we're going to go on, and I know because there's some other ones that were on sale as well too, and I wanted to get that. And this article was out on Drone XL. All right. Amazon Prime Drone Mini 4K, DJI Neo, and SkyRover X1. Now I'm going to go down to the SkyRover X1. Premium features at mid-tier pricing. SkyRover X1 Firmware combo drops to $718.40, was $898 for Amazon Prime members. The complete package includes a drone, remote controller, and 3 batteries, delivering 96 minutes of total flight time, 32 minutes per battery. And my video for SkyRover just came out. I just put that out there for everybody. I mean, those are some great deals, Ron. And you know, that Neo only $159. I mean, you know, for a base entry type of drone, I think that's an absolutely kicker deal. It really is.
And Bill, that's one drone that you can guarantee is under 250 grams.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And you know, especially with those combos that they have for that, I mean, that is really absolutely incredible here.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to get that one combo with the goggles and motion controls. It's such a good deal. But the only thing, you know, a lot of people don't have it. They, you know, don't have it yet, and they're fine with it. But of course, a lot of us are sitting on the side waiting for another month to pass by to see the Neo 2. So you think, well, this could be a little bit of cleaning house, cleaning inventory?
You know, that's probably right, Ron. I think that's exactly what they're doing. For DJI, you know, they're clearing that inventory out and getting ready for that. So, yeah. So this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a look at what's coming soon for DJI, and I wanted to get to this because I know I've had a ton of questions on the Neo 2. Okay. Now they're talking here within short order. It looks like the Neo 2, the Mic 3 Pro, and Osmo Mobile 8. Slated for November 2025 launch. Okay, that's pretty incredible.
It's going to be a busy holiday season over there at DJI, Bill.
Yeah, it said for the Neo 2, FCC filings showed 166 milliamp hour battery from the Neo 2, 12% capacity increase, extended flight times beyond the current mode's 18 minutes. Although DJI has not confirmed whether additional features might offset these gains. The Cinewhoop designation is particularly intriguing. These drones, characterized by fully ducted propellers and compact form factors, excel at flying in tight indoor spaces and close to subjects, perfect for dynamic social media content. The Neo 2 delivers on this promise while maintaining a sub-250-gram operation, avoiding FAA registration requirements for U.S. for recreational flyers. It could be a go-to choice for content creators seeking FPV capabilities without the complexity of traditional racing drones. Industry observers have speculated about enhanced tracking capabilities, improved camera quality, approaching mini-series standards, and the potential for memory card expansion, all features notably absent from the original Neo that limited its appeal to series creators. And I want to stop right there, Ron, because I think a lot of people, you know, got the Neo, you know, people like us, you know, we got the Neo, and we're expecting something that's going to have a camera like a mini type of camera, and it's not. Okay, it's more like what was the $99 drone that DJI had?
Oh, the little Tello.
The Tello. Okay, it's more like the Tello in terms of quality, and I think people need to have a level set expectation of that because they don't, and because they don't, they're thinking they're going to get that kind of quality right there, and it's not. Okay, they need to kind of realize that. So it really kind of sounds, I think, and that was, I think, one of the big things that I heard a lot of people talk about was they wanted to see improved camera quality with this drone. I mean, granted, it's $199 now, $159 drone, so you're not going to get everything on this, okay? But improved camera quality is something that people wanted, and it looks like DJI is going to answer that.
Right? And Bill, to the little Neo's defense, if you were using the camera like shooting you up close, it actually looked pretty good. Where the camera fell was when you were trying to shoot like a broad landscape with it, like it was a Mavic or something like that. But it was mostly the drone was intended to film you at close range, and it did well at that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like I said, people needed to have kept that in mind, and they didn't a lot of times when they purchased this drone because they're thinking, oh yeah, they're going to get something that's like a mini, and it's not like a mini. So keep that in mind about if you're still looking at the Neo.
Well, this new one, the Neo 2, looks like it has similar specs to, say, a Mini 4 Pro. So if those rumors are true, this Neo 2 is going to be a quite an upgrade in the camera department, Bill.
Yeah, I think so too, Ron. I really do. And I think the FCC filings kind of address that with an increased battery size And I think it's probably not, I think it's not going to be in terms of minutes, but in terms of the feature set, to be able to support the feature set on the drone itself, it's probably going to need that extra power. And I think that's why they up the milliamp hours.
And this drone, of course, will gain some weight if it has this improved camera.
Exactly. Now, this just floors me. DJI Mic 3 Pro, okay, professional audio gets an upgrade. I mean, you know, the Mic 2 was everything I wanted, okay?
Right.
I didn't even need to consider the Mic 3, and I know a lot of people bought the Mic 3. I think Marcus bought it.
Because of the small size.
Because of the small size, okay?
Yeah.
Now, they're talking about a Mic 3 Pro. And
well, what happened, Bill, is that when the Mic 3 came out, everything was good except professionals needed a jack port to put a lanyard mic in, because real professionals use a lanyard. Even though the Mic 3 is small, it's still not small enough for professionals. They just like that little lapel mic, and you couldn't plug a lapel mic into the Mic 3. So it kind of limited itself to just kind of YouTubers or social media. Pros really didn't upgrade to it, Bill.
Yeah, and see, that's why I like the Mic 2, because I have that option, because I bought the DJI lapel mic, and it's perfect. It works really, really well with that. Okay, if you don't want to have that thing up on your collar like that, you just have a small lapel thing, which really is kind of unobtrusive. And
it looks professional. It looks like you're working at CNN or something. Yeah,
exactly. Here, okay. A pro designation typically signals DJI's intention to add features targeting professional workflows. The pro version likely addresses specific professional pain points. Possibilities include enhanced weatherproofing for outdoor shoots, professional XLR compatibility, or expanded internal storage beyond the current 32 gigabyte capability. The timing makes strategic sense. Many of them complete their equipment purchases for the following year during fourth quarter, making a November announcement ideal for capturing year-end budgets. The Mic 3 currently retails from $219 for a single, and the Pro model could command $100 to $150 premium for advanced features. And then the Osmo Mobile 8, the gimbal evolution continues. That's going to be very interesting. And, you know, for me, you know, and I want to say this, okay? One of the things for me, I've never really seen the need for me to get one of those gimbals. I know a lot of people like them, and I know they've changed over the years in terms of being able to use your phone with that, because I know the early ones you used to have to take your phone out of its case, and it was, I mean, you know, just it was a real pain to use. It was more pain to use than not use. Okay, and that's why I had mine for a week and I sent it back. I'm like, this isn't going to work. It's not for me. But some people really like it, and they like the capabilities of being able to do that. So, you know, that's for them. I mean, I'm just not that kind of a person here. So, I mean, and this is coming up. Their timing is incredible, Ron, because it's coming during the month of November here. Okay, and we all know, you know, Black Friday is going to come up, and I would think it's going to be out before Black Friday. Wouldn't you think so, Ron?
Well, I mean, yeah, it would really mess up if they release this stuff after Black Friday. Because a lot of people finish their Christmas shopping Black Friday weekend, Bill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Okay. Exertion. Just to answer your question real quick, I don't. That may have been the store I used. I don't know, but you have to take a look and see what their ratings are. I mean, that's what you do. You need to go through, check out their ratings on eBay, check out their feedback to see what they got, and to check the listing to make sure they don't charge tariffs. Okay.
Yeah, you know, that store is familiar. I know people did order from that, but I can't tell you who it was or whether, you know, how their sale went or whatever. So yeah, I can't tell you offhand. It's not who I ordered from.
I can't do that either. So now we're going to get into the Mini 5 Pro, and there is absolutely a lot to cover. Ron, why don't you talk to us about what you found out through some emails that we had, email conversations we had going on?
Oh, you mean about concerning the remote ID on the drone?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, I made a video with Lou, and I think I saw Lou in here today. Lou lives near me, lives over in Brigantine. He came over one day, and I didn't have my Mini 5 yet, but he had his. He also had an Android phone, which I do not have an Android device of any type. So he brought both over. And first we tested the Mavic 4 Pro, because remember there was a rumor that the Mavic 4 Pro did not broadcast remote ID. Well, we put my Mavic 4 in the air, And sure enough, it was broadcast remote ID. So that was solved. So then we got his Mini 5 Pro out. We put up flying a normal battery, and it broadcast remote ID. We could see it on the screen, and even off camera. He let me fly afterwards, and we watched the Mini on that app drone scanner fly all over the place. It showed the home point where I was standing. It worked perfectly. But a lot of people, I know, Richard's tested his out, and Gorilla Man, of course, he's in Canada, so that may make a difference. But they're not seen on remote ID with a normal battery. So the test results are kind of vary. I don't know what the variable is, whether it's the country of origin you got it from, whether it's firmware or the controller. We were using, I forget what Lou was using. I think he was using the RC2 controller during that testing. So what I'm telling you is there is no definite answer whether your Mini 4 Pro is going to broadcast remote ID with a normal battery.
Okay, that's a good point. And I wanted to show you, and it's for people that have joined late, got this off a seller in China. Okay, it's a Mini 5 Pro battery, the extended version, and I got props. Okay.
Oh, good.
And less than probably about 12 days shipping.
Now, what was the cost of that battery?
The battery was about $159.
That's what most people are reporting, about $150.
Yeah, and I think I paid like $12 for shipping for that.
Okay.
The props were reasonable. For all these, I got 2 packs here, and they were $20 each. So
okay, that's good.
So also, and because I wanted to address and answer a question a lot of people had, Ron, because they said, "Oh, well, we're not able to get accessories." Well, I wanted to show everybody you can get accessories, and it's very easy. It's as easy as getting the drone. And what's interesting is these came from China, and there's no tariff on it at all. Nothing, zero. Okay, so just want to let you guys know about that. The other thing is this, and I mentioned this earlier, but I want to bring it up because this is the Mini 5 Pro segment. Had some people ask questions about doing firmware updates for the Mini 5 Pro and the Mavic 4 Pro. All right. And somebody said, and I hadn't used it for years. So what I finally did was they said, oh, they can't get, it won't show on DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones. Okay. First of all, I tell people this, there's a lot of different flavors of DJI Assistant 2, but you have to load DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones. Okay. That's a must. All right. I had an old version of it, was outdated, so I completely downloaded a new version. I hooked the Mini 5 Pro up to it. It was crystal clear. It was right there.
Wow.
Had no problems. Okay. So, the big question is, in case, things go south come this, December, and as far as, DJI being banned in the United States, we have the option of being able to go to download these firmware updates through this DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones. I want to make sure everybody is well aware of that you can do that, okay? Because I don't think they're going to shut that off. They're just going to really shut off future sales, okay, is what they're going to do. They're not going to shut off the ability to do firmware updates. Unless I'm horribly mistaken, I think we'll still be able to do that. I don't think that will be a problem. So, but I wanted to make everybody aware of those two things right there off the bat. I think that's important to know that. All right. As a side note, I contacted my State Farm agent, sent them all the information. They sent it to underwriting. I'm going to hear back next week because I had a lot of changes on my personal articles policy. But they're going to get back to me next week to let me know for sure. So it's not a flat out no. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
This next article talks about, and I have to say this, and I'm going to talk about my first flight here in a minute. Now, the DJI Mini 5 Pro's battery is an absolute game changer. Okay. The agony of the low battery warning, a real world revolution. Seeing so many lost opportunities, great footage. DJI now pampering us their latest advantage in the Mini 5 Pro, the 52-minute battery. Okay. More than just flying farther. Okay. These extra minutes, we can not only fly farther, but the hyperlapse addicts among us, we can create wonders. I made a 10-minute to 10-second hyperlapse, and when I finished recording, I still had 30 minutes of power lapse. Okay. the truly interesting thing is how it changes your flying habits. When I fly my other mini drones, I usually use 1 or 2 full batteries per session. The Mini 5 Pro, I used 1 battery, and that single battery lasted me for at least 3 different flights on 2 separate nights. All right, and the battery is pretty incredible, Ron. And
yeah, I mean, Grow Man's done some testing of the standard battery and the plus battery, and he's been getting about 25 minutes with his normal battery and about 35 with his plus battery. And I don't have the plus battery, but the standard battery, I can confirm I'm probably averaging around the same thing, 25 minutes. So I mean, he was a little disappointed. He was basically saying it's probably not worth getting the plus battery or the standard battery because you're paying all that money for 10 extra minutes.
Well, yeah, and that's possibly true. But what the reason, 2 of the reasons I got this, I went ahead and I got another plus battery instead of a standard battery was 1, I wanted to make sure it was available, and 2, like the article said, he took it out for 3 separate flights on 1 battery, and this will be my 4th battery that I have for the Mini 5 Pro, which is fantastic. Now, I was all ready on Monday. I had shot video. I took my first flight on Sunday, went out there, smooth as silk, no problems, everything okay. Downloaded everything, all right. So I'm putting this together. I'm out on DaVinci Resolve, and I'm looking for my 2 DJI files for the video files, okay. I see, and you know how it'll split it at a certain point in time. It splits those files, okay. I found the second half. The first half, I go to find it, okay. And I show it up off the SD card. It's unreadable. It had an error in it. Okay.
Oh no!
So I got to read. And Valerie goes, "What's that mean?" And I said, "Well, I got to kind of shoot the whole thing over again." So
did you do that thing where you shut the drone off without shutting down the video?
No.
Okay.
Which I kind of thought, and I go, "Oh, okay. I'll just get it off the SD card." Well, like a genius that I am, I said, I already downloaded them. I don't need them on the SD card. So I deleted them off the SD card. So it had some kind of corruption in it. I tried a couple restores out there and repairs, and it didn't work. So I got to redo that. But
hate that.
all in all, and I wanted to kind of give a first impression before my actual review video. One of the things that really impressed me, Ron, and I know a lot of people have said a lot of things about this, okay, in the speed in normal mode is incredible. I mean, it just kind of blew me away how fast it was. I mean, really, it was insane how fast it was in normal mode.
Yeah, I haven't got to fly it in kind of a windless environment yet, but I've seen it. It's definitely an upgrade of the Mini 4 Pro as far as handling the wind. I flew today in real heavy wind. I never got one wind warning.
Well, glad you brought that up, because during landing, the wind picked up. It was like about 10 miles an hour. It picked up to 15 to 20 to 25 miles an hour during landing. And you saw it doing this all the way down. And you know what? It still stuck the mat. Okay. I'm like, wow. Okay, wow. I mean, I was super, super, super impressed. The other thing that impressed me, without giving away too much, is, okay, I did the zoom on the fountain, and I looked at the video from that, and the video was sharp and clear and discernible, and it wasn't like the zoom, the previous zooms. Okay,
yeah. Bill, what you're referring to is the mid-tele lens.
The mid-tele, the mid-tele, yeah. It was muy bueno. I mean, really, 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 absolutely, positively fantastic on that. Okay. Now, one of the other things was, and I wanted to go ahead and cover this as well too. The Mini 5 Pro dynamic home point now works with the RC2 controller. Okay. And Sean did a video on that, which is, the dynamic home point is just something that is absolutely incredible. Now, I've seen, Ron, I've heard, and I don't know if you've heard from Johnny or anybody else that has it, that some people have said that it works incredibly well. Other people said not so much. What have you heard?
Yeah, I haven't heard a whole lot. I mean, I've seen videos where people, have seen the work well in the video reviews I've seen, but I don't know anybody personally said they they tested that out. Or I'm one of those people, I rarely ever move during shooting. I'll purposely move sometime just to test it, but normally I don't I don't get in a boat or whatever, train or anything and move around. So
Yeah.
I'm not a good one to really say much on that.
Yeah. Okay. And understanding static versus dynamic home point, and Sean gets into this here, and this is a very good
well, before you go on, Billy, we do want to mention that this is a feature that has to be enabled in software. This is dynamic home point is not enabled out of the box.
Yeah.
It has to be put on in the software.
You need to do that. Now again, this is for using the RC2 controller. If you decide to go ahead and use the RC Pro 2, I imagine it would probably work out of the box, Ron. I don't know.
Well, I think, but it's a setting, and you have to turn it on. I don't think it's on by default.
Oh, okay.
It definitely was not on by default with the RC2 Pro. You had to go in and enable it.
Okay, so
because well, I mean, if you didn't move at all, it wouldn't make any difference to have it on or off. It still would come back to you, right? So, but
yeah,
I had to enable it. It wasn't on by default.
Yeah, Sean talks about how to enable dynamic home point here. So you definitely want to go ahead and read that here. DD fellows, no, I don't think they'll probably do that.
I doubt it.
I think we're probably done. You're probably not going to get.
You're not going to get any more features for the Mini 4 Pro, most likely.
The Mini 4 Pro, they may do fix bugs or things, but I don't think you'll get any more features.
I mean, they didn't even add to the Air 3S yet.
Yeah. So, which is really, really interesting here. Really interesting as far as that was concerned. So, now this was a good article. We all know now that it has that Lidar sensors on it. And this article talked about, it kind of gave some tips and do's and don'ts with the Lidar sensors, because, one of the things people think when you have Lidar out there that the drone becomes Superman, is impervious to, things. And so you got to do this. It's like, time out here, coach. Okay. That's not necessarily the case, because one of the things, and it was pointed out in here, and it's a lot of people will just go willy-nilly flying around. One of the other things is probably one of the greatest danger to drones out there are power lines, okay? And telephone lines, because it still cannot.
Thin wires in general, Bill.
Wires in general, exactly, Ron. It can't discern that, okay, because of, for a million reasons out there. Their thickness, the way they sit in the air, a lot of times you don't see them, and then boom, okay.
You'll have to wait for Lidar 2.0.
Yeah, exactly, okay. But this talks about how Lidar works, and this is a good article to go ahead and read. Lidar proactively scans ahead during flight, detecting objects along the flight path, enabling the drone to stop, hover, or reroute automatically. This is especially useful during the automated return to home function, the most advanced implementation I've ever tested on any consumer drone. Okay. Magic, no Lidar, and so there's an absolute fantastic piece of technology, and having this advanced functionality on a sub 249 is a genuine game changer. However, they can detect the most feared enemy of all drones. Okay. Yes, I'm talking about wires. There's nearly invisible hazards that lie in wait, especially if you're conducting urban paid flights to showcase a location properly. Unfortunately, based on my tests, as you can see here, no, it's not the answer. It's a little frustrating to see that even in plain daylight, my drone didn't see even a small warning about the wire. The Lidar system, impressive as it is, struggled to detect this thin obstacle, a limitation that pilots need to be aware of when operating in environments while power lines or cables may be present. And I got to tell you this, and I got to stop with this. This was real interesting. My manager from work bought a Mini 4K with the express purpose of being able to inspect the roof on his former house that he rents out, okay? And where his property is, it's in Old Tampa, and it's congested. There are a lot of trees, and guess what? There's a lot of wires up in the air, okay? And I told him, I said, you know, this is probably, I'm glad you got this drone because it doesn't have some of the advanced features like I was telling him about this, because if you use that, you know, chances are 9 times out of 10 you're going to hit a wire and your drone's going to you're going to have a $300 paperweight that will be sitting on your desk from now through eternity. So I told him, I said, this is good because this forces you to manually fly the drone the whole way. Okay, and this is what I told him. I said, if you're going to do that, like, well, he lives in suburbia like me, where there's no, you know, doesn't have to worry about it. But where his house is, his rental house is, you know, there's a lot of wires, there's trees down there, and it's very congested. And I told him, I said, when you do this, you gotta fly manually. And I told him what to do. That when what you want to do is you want to get up at least 50 feet above the roof of your house, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you fly over the roof of your house, and then you can descend right when you're over the middle of your roof, all right? Because you know there's nothing at that point. And then you could go ahead and do your inspection from there. And I said, and then reverse the process. Go up, way up, go out, and then come back and, you know, land on the other side of the street because there's no obstacle there. So yeah, you really kind of need to be paying attention to this, Ron. Yeah. You know, one of the other things that I wanted to say was I've been getting, and I talked about this earlier, but I wanted to mention it as well again too. Getting a lot of questions about the eBay process, the eBay sellers, and all of that. Okay, and these are some things, and I want to repeat them because I think it's pretty important here. Okay, not every seller on eBay from South Korea or Japan is going to be tariff free. Okay, you need to look at each individual. The sellers themselves. Okay, some of them may say, you know, all of our stuff is tariff free, which is fine. Some of them may only have individual items that are tariff free. Okay, and you need to look on each listing out there. All right, that's a disclaimer. All right, you need to be aware of that. The other thing is you need to go out and look at their buyer feedback out on eBay. It is so important. All right, I always recommend you get somebody that's had at least over 100 feedbacks. Okay,
and Bill, what I look for in particular, I look for recent feedbacks on their drones. Like, I don't care if they sold a pair of sneakers last year, it was successful. I look at recent drone sales. I look for comments like didn't pay tariffs or something like that or whatever. So that's what I really zero in on the feedback you're getting.
It's so important to do that. You need to be aware of doing that. Now, also too, you need to see, sometimes they'll offer that AllState protection plan, which is it's owned by Square Trade, and that's something I would highly recommend that you would take advantage of, because if you want to get that protection, it's there. It's available for you to use. Now, I got it for both the Mini 5 Pro, and I also got it for the Mavic 4 Pro. I think they were like $150 or $200 for like a 2-year plan, which I thought was great. I think that's a great. Yeah,
deal. I think they started $89, and for the Mini, they started $89 and went up to maybe like $129, depending if you want a more package. Before we get off the eBay sellers, one thing I think I've noticed, Bill, what's happening is if the seller is charging you shipping, and shipping could be up to $100, you're probably not going to have to pay any tariff and duty. But if you get free shipping, that's when you're probably going to get hit with a tariff or duty.
You're right.
I think the people that charge you shipping, they're paying it for you. But if you get free shipping, then you're paying. But still, like, I paid $44 for my tariff/duty, which is still less than if I'd have paid like $100 of shipping.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, what was real interesting was I ordered the Mini 5 Pro, and then 2 days later, I ordered the Mavic 4 Pro, and they both came at the same time next Monday morning. Okay, which was pretty incredible. Both FedEx, both from South Korea, and the one thing that I did, the one of them had, I think it was like a $75 shipping charge, and the other one had no shipping, but they included the tariff. The price was just a little bit higher, okay, on the Mavic 4 Pro, but not much, not more than $100 or $200. So it wasn't like some of these places in the United States that are selling them, that are out on eBay, that are at like $900 to $1,000 over what the list price is. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, some people go ahead and they'll go ahead and pay that. So,
Bill, I want to show you something here. I just put it on for the first time yesterday. Of course, if you buy one of these Firmware combos, the Mini 5 comes with SD filters in the box. You know, any of the firmware comes with, you get the, no matter what controller, you get the filters. And I put a filter in for the first time yesterday, and rather than a magnetic system, they're like an old style Snap-on computer, filter, like it, you know, and it's kind of fidgety to get on there, you know, to make sure it was on tight that it wouldn't fall off. But yeah, it's just kind of it's funny how they, you know, they do all sorts of ND filter kind of systems as far as putting them on, and this one kind of goes back a few years to like an older style of ND filter. So you don't remove anything off the camera. You don't have to take anything off the front of the camera. This just goes right on top. And,
goes right on top.
Yeah, yeah. And the other say filter or not, you know, just clear glass kind of stays on. So yeah, I don't see too many people talk about discuss this in video, but you know, it was a little bit hard to get on to say the little magnetic ones to snap on, but it wasn't too bad. You can see that kind of like a lot of them, they had that, they had those little, see those little, it sticks in those little grooves, those air grooves to let heat out. They attach to that venting system.
Okay. So did you look at the video from it after you shot it?
Yeah, I did not. I mean, I peeked at it, but I didn't look at it on the big screen or anything like that. But you know, they're directly from you know, DJI or whatever. I mean, I'd be shocked if it was any issues with the film. I mean, people get really tied up with ND filters. It's a simple thing. It's just a piece of glass that's darkened or whatever. I mean, anybody can make an ND filter. It's not like it's a, you know, you got to be a rocket scientist.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things that I have to say is the prop holder that DJI has.
Yes.
You know, this right here, I found these props come out super easy on the bottom down here. Okay.
They do.
So I'm kind of on the hunt to see if Start RC or that Sunny Life or somebody else will make an aftermarket one. Now on the front. Okay,
yeah, I'm sure they will, Bill. Just give them a little time.
Yeah. Now, see, on the front, I like how this does on the front because it clips into the vents here, okay,
yes,
which I think is good. And it's real reminiscent of like the Mavic 4 Pro, okay,
right,
the front end, okay. And I think this does a good job. So, yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see about something like that because, you know, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that it's going to be in there and stable. Now,
especially if people don't have the cases, where you can get those props caught is take them in and out of the cases. That's where they can get caught.
Exactly. Now, I talk about cases, okay. I filmed 3 reviews this weekend, one for the Lycus case, and then I had 2, I don't know if you got, I had 2 Start RC cases sent to me as well. And I filmed the reviews for them. I haven't put them together. I want to get the Start RCs out there because there's supposedly a sale by October 7th, and they sent me an email on that. But one of the things with the Start RC, and I didn't realize that like the first time around. I had to actually reshoot the video. The foam beneath where a lot of the components sit comes up. Okay.
Oh yeah,
on that, and I didn't know that, so I had to redo it because I'm like the battery compartment's not fitting in there right, and then I realized there's it's below there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's about it as far as what we have for drone discussion tonight.
Hey, before you go into Steeler Nation, look at Mike Wright's comment here. He said, I ordered 3 standard Mini 5 batteries from South Korea and agreed to pay a tariff of approximately $2 to $30, but they arrived and was never billed for the tariff. A lot of people report that too, that they were expected to pay a tariff, but they didn't wind up doing it. So, you know, thanks, Mike, for that. And Johnny said, get that Neo for Thunder. And see, Richard agrees with you, Bill. He said I would like a replacement gimbal cover for the Mini 5 Pro. So Richard, he agrees with you, Bill.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to probably Mike Wright's comment because that is interesting that even he agreed the parent tariff, he did not. But yeah, on the Steeler Nation, of course, Steeler Nation was on buy this week. But
Steeler Nation had to buy.
But Steeler Nation should go and buy more often. They gained a game. I think everybody in your division lost, right? They gained a game on. They gained a game on everybody.
You gained a game on everybody.
Ed, but did you hear the big Central Division news today though?
Yes, Joe Flacco got traded.
Cleveland Browns, who benched Joe Flacco last week, now have traded him to the Cincinnati Bengals, who the Bengals have been. Have you seen that score? The Bengals have fallen apart without Joe Burrow. They're
Oh
getting
yeah,
hammered.
they're like, yeah, and you know, I got a hard. I'm hard pressed to believe that the Bengals were that so totally dependent upon Joe Burrow. That I mean, he was like, I'm like, wait a minute here, what's going on with that? And you know, and I'm sorry, I got to point to this. We're now at the football portion of the show.
Yeah,
Just want to let you know that, okay?
Yeah.
You would think that a head coach would have his team ready in all circumstances here, okay? I'm sorry, you know what? That's not Ron. If you lose a quarterback, okay, all right, that's all well and good, but you know what? You still have a defensive side, okay? You still have other players on that team, all right?
Yeah.
You know,
the running backs didn't get hurt. Yeah, I mean
the line isn't hurt. They're still together. I mean, the Bengals have notoriously not had good defenses, and that's kind of to be understood. Yeah. But I mean, really, to have this complete.
If Joe Burrow's that important to the team, I'd worry he'd come in and ask for a raise, huh?
Yeah, it's like they had a complete implosion, okay, after he got hurt, and there's no timetable. I have no idea when he's going to be able to come back from something like that.
And yeah, not this season. Meanwhile, Flacco, even though he's benched and traded from Cleveland, I don't think Terry Bradshaw couldn't have won with that Cleveland team, right? It wasn't Flacco.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and I'll tell you what, I respect Joe Flacco for still playing at his age, okay? Because, you know, most quarterbacks are in the studio doing analysis for the networks, all right? And he's still out there with pads on and facing up against, you know, just some humongous defensive linemen, all right? He's still going out there, so kudos to Joe Flacco.
Of course, Joe. Don't feel too bad for Joe. He keeps drawing a paycheck. It doesn't affect his paycheck whether he starts or gets traded. He's still making his money.
Still making his money, and you know he's probably going to go to a better situation. I think he'll probably do fairly well in Cincinnati.
I mean, at least Cincinnati has some weapons. They have those receivers. Chase is a Pro Bowler, and Higgins is close to a Pro Bowler, so he's got people to throw to, right?
Yeah, he has people to throw. See, and Dre put it real well. Cincy defense couldn't stop a jaywalker. That's exactly right.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is Burrow could throw for 300 yards, 3 or 4 TDs, and he still loses because he gets outscored. So if you're the Cincinnati quarterback, you can't come in expecting to have an easy day. You got to lay it up almost every time out there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, you can put what you put 35. 38 points on the scoreboard.
That may not get it done. Yeah, that may not get it done.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way that is. Conversely, okay, how many nail biters were there this weekend? I mean,
boy, yeah.
They were all over the place, and my gosh,
even last night, the Chiefs game, they were down and they looked like they were going to win, and then Lawrence brings Jacksonville down. They scored with the seconds left, and it was the oddest TD ever. One of the linemen stepped on Lawrence's foot. He fell flat on the ground. It looked like the play was over, but nobody touched him. He got up looking like he didn't know what he was doing for a few minutes, and once he made a decision, he ran in for the TD. It was one of those plays. It was like a I don't know, like a bloopers play almost, the way he got that TD.
Well, and I tell you what, they closed. I mean, I watched the highlights of that. I didn't see it live, but I watched the highlights, and I was looking at Mahomes' face. I was looking at Kelsey's face. I was looking at Andy Reid's face, and you know what I saw in there, Ron? They kind of look like deers in the headlight. Okay, They really kind of look discombobulated, like. And and I think their Super Bowl run is over. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is still pretty solid. I mean, they gave up more last night. Their defense is still good enough, but the offense. I mean, Kelsey. I mean, I love Kelsey, but Father Time's caught up with him. He's no longer the player he used to be. They can't run the ball for anything. So it's all Mahomes. He has no running game. He's got to throw the ball. And who are his receivers? He's got over the hill Kelsey, and his receiver there, the what do you call it? The guy who couldn't shoot straight. They're a bunch of no-namers or whatever. There's nobody making any plays out there on offense.
Like the Aldi special. Okay, I mean they're wide receivers. They're a dime a dozen out there. You can go get them at the Kmart Blue Light special.
I mean, Joe Schuster is still a big part of their offense, and he basically plays on one knee, right, Bill?
Yeah, his one knee is gone, literally.
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, yeah.
And then, yeah. So I think they're kind of like on the outs. But the surprise for me, okay, this weekend, and I know, I don't know if you saw it, but the Eagles and Broncos.
Oh yeah, of
Wow.
course. We watched that game here, in Philadelphia, and the Eagles were doing good for a while, but then you know, uh, things didn't go well at the end. Of course, Bill, they're going up against a cagey veteran coach in Sean Payton. I mean,
Hmm.
Sean Payton's been around this league a long time, and he knows how to win, right, Bill?
Oh, he sure does. Yeah. I mean, what? Look what he did with
New
what, New
Orleans was
Orleans?
a powerhouse when he was there
Yeah.
for all those
With
years.
with Bledsoe. I mean, yeah, he was, yeah, class act, and he knows his stuff. Okay, and he's really, I think, turned Denver around, which is really interesting. But I mean, the other thing that really surprised me was the Niners, with as many people as they had out, they still won.
And that's a pretty good Rams team they beat.
And yeah, they beat a
And the
pretty good
Niners, they got
Rams
all
team.
those people out, but the Niners are what, like 4-1. The Niners are doing good with all those people out. They don't
Yeah,
even, they don't even have their quarterback. Mac Jones is winning that game. You remember Mac Jones? He was a big star in Alabama, got drafted by the Patriots, and kind of had a rough ride there, and got let go in New England. And he's kind of one of these quarterbacks like what's the guy Denard and the guy in Tampa now. They kind of rejuvenated their careers after they kind of
oh yeah.
got busted out of their first season. But in their defense, they were on some bad teams, and now they're on teams that know how to utilize their skills.
Oh yeah, I mean, I gotta say this. I mean, I am thrilled over the moon for Tampa the way they're playing right now.
And
And
help me, I can't spit the quarterback's name out. He's a good quarterback.
oh, good Lord, Johnny Manziel.
No, he's the other Cleveland quarterback.
Oh, I know. Oh, Baker Mayfield. Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield.
Yeah.
Baker's a nice guy
And
too.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, it's like he had a new lease on life. He goes down to Tampa, and he has a good coach, Ron. I love Tampa's coach. Okay,
Yeah.
absolutely. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. He's got it done. I mean, he just
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
love what that guy is doing. Absolutely, positively.
Now, Bill, there's one game that was no surprise. The Cowboys took on the winless New York Jets, and it was the result of that game was no surprise. I point that out because when everybody got happy of the Steelers winning that game one, you pointed out it was the Jets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm like, you know what? And you know who I feel really bad for? Okay, really bad for. You know who the quarterback of the Jets is? Okay,
Oh,
and
Fields, yeah,
Fields.
yeah.
I mean, he has Ron. I saw so much great talent in him, and if he went to a proper team with a proper coach, he could really turn into being an incredible quarterback. Okay, and that's why he never got a chance. He never had a chance in Pittsburgh. Okay, because Tomlin didn't like him. All right. So
Right.
he was out the door. And then he goes to the Jets. Okay. And look at the coaching staff with the Jets. I mean, seriously. I mean,
Well, they
he's,
said that the Jets have all new coaches, same results though, and they said the coach the Jets have the most turnovers in the league. They're turning the ball or making bad plays, and the coach is emphasizing ball safety and whatever. But it's just not sinking through. He doesn't know how he's going to get through these guys. You know,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and back to what you talked about, Steeler Nation. You talked about the Jets, and the Steelers are in this division where they're playing the Browns and the Bengals and the Titans and whatever. Well, they're gonna make playoffs. They may win division, but the problem is when they get to the playoffs, the teams they're beating, Jets, Browns, Bengals, they're not the teams they're going to face in playoffs, are they?
No. No. Chances are they'll line up. They'll probably draw the Bills. Okay. I mean, seriously, up in Buffalo.
Yeah,
And just,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, you're walking into a buzzsaw with that. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
Total
it's nice to win a division, win these games, but I don't know. Like you said, uh, I don't know if that equals success in the playoffs. I know you're at the point with the Steelers. Making the playoffs isn't no longer your goal or a winning record. You want to win a playoff game. You want to get to a championship game, right? Ron,
Yeah.
you don't want to just get in there and then get slapped by some Bills team or whatever.
Yeah, you go in and, well, what? It's been, what, 2016, 2017 was the last time Tomlin won a playoff game. It's been at least 8 or 9 years.
Right.
I mean, you just, you know what? Having grown up, and I know a lot of you are our ages, and you watched 70s football, which I think, and Ron and I talked about it.
The golden era of the NFL
of all time, okay, was in the 1970s, okay? And some of these teams are just incredible, okay? Just absolutely, totally incredible. You know, what we're seeing right now, all right, is not that 1970s football, but, you know, the whole thing, the whole MO with the Steelers was, all right, they were built to win championships, okay? They weren't built to make the playoffs. They were built to win championships, all right? And it's now the attitude is, oh, we make the playoffs. Wow, okay, let's buy gold Rolexes for everybody, give them new Mercedes, whatever, okay? I'm like, no, that's not the goal, okay? The goal is to stand there with a Super Bowl trophy in February 1st and saying we're the champions, all right? That's not the goal to win or to make the playoffs and have a winning record, okay? It's easy to, when you're in a division like the Steelers are in, Ron, okay, it's super easy to have a winning record. You're playing the Browns and the Bengals twice each, okay?
And now even Baltimore's falling apart.
And Baltimore's, I mean, Lamar Jackson's hurt.
Their defense can't stop anybody either.
And their defense is like, it's like pouring water.
No, so what you're saying is out of the Steeler team now, you don't see winning 4 of the next Super Bowls like the 70 Steelers.
Right. There's no domination right here. Oh, before I forget, I saw an article. They're you know what they're doing out in Las Vegas? They want Kenny Pickett to start for the Raiders now.
Oh, I forgot he's there, and he was a Cleveland Brown not all that long ago. Well, you know,
yep.
Guess what? Guess who the Browns had all those? They had 7 quarterbacks in Pickett, Flacco, all these guys, and guess who they're down to 2 now. The only 2 quarterbacks left are the rookie that's played this weekend was his name Dylan and Sanders. Sanders. They're the only 2 guys left from all those quarterbacks.
Well, you know what's funny was I saw somebody did a video, and this was years ago, and they talked about Cleveland being the black hole of quarterbacks, and it showed like this picture of outer space and these quarterbacks, and the guy did a great job with that. It's like they walked into the black hole and then you didn't see them. I mean, it was just like, and you know, Cleveland was a black hole for quarterbacks. Is it?
Well, this weekend they said that this guy that started, if his name's not Dylan, I'm sorry, it's something like that. He's the 44th quarterback that started for the Browns since the new Browns were formed in 2000.
Well, you know, I go back to, I think for me, the last really good quarterback the Browns had was Bernie Kosar. Okay. Now, you know that,
and that, let me help you out there. That's the old Browns who are now the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
These Browns are an expansion team, and what Tim Couch was their first quarterback. He was going to be the savior, and but again, I don't know if it was Tim or he had nothing around him. You know that's the thing. But
he probably didn't have anything around him.
I mean, the Browns, like you said, Kosar was maybe the last one, and like you know. I'll go back to the Steelers. Remember the end of the Steeler dynasty when Cleveland got good. Remember that one year Brian Sipe was the league MVP?
Yep. Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, remember. I think that may have been around the last year the Steelers won the Super Bowl, or maybe the year after. He had this. In fact, people think Houston is the one that knocked the Steelers off the mantle. The Browns are the ones that took the division away from Pittsburgh.
Yep. They did. You
remember the Sam Rutigliano to the head coach?
Oh yeah.
He had a nice run of a few years there. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was a good coach. Well, you know, Cleveland had some good coaches. Okay, he was a good coach. Marty Schottenheimer, before he went out to Kansas City, he was a good coach as well too.
He had the Browns in the playoffs every year. You know, they may have got to a Super Bowl, but remember they kept going against the Broncos in the playoffs, and they were Elway and Rutigliano. I mean. What's his name? Schottenheimer had this defense called the prevent defense, right? Where he prevented you from scoring long touchdowns. But what had happened is, you remember Elway could run. Elway, when they would rush 3 guys and leave and not put any pressure on Elway, he would just run and get 10 yards first down every time, or throw a screen pass. He would just work it down. He could stop the clock almost every play. Before you knew it, he was on your 20-yard line ready to score. I mean, the Marty wasn't. I don't know. I'm not saying he wasn't smart. Marty didn't realize with the prevent, it doesn't work against everybody. It doesn't work against the Elway, because if you don't pass rush him, he's going to run for 10 yards and get out of bounds every time.
all day long on twice on Sunday. Yeah. So,
So,
any final thoughts before we wrap things up here, Ron?
no, I mean, just Bill, have you got out to fly the Mini 5 Pro yet?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And I'm just looking forward to everybody getting out, getting more experience with it. You'll probably have a video coming soon. I put a couple little videos out on it. I'm still working on the Mavic 4 Pro. So, even though it's kind of, we're seeing this as a down period because it looks like the door's getting shut on DJI. In fact, as far as releasing new drones in the US or whatever. But if we have to go out with drones like the Mini 5 Pro, the Mavic 4 Pro, the Air 3S, whatever, we're going out with some of the best technology that's ever flown in the consumer space. And we're going to be good for 3, 4, 5 years as far as kind of state-of-the-art technology. So, it's things that kind of aren't as bad as what we thought we were. I mean, I think DJI will keep releasing drones, right? But I mean, I think the drones going forward will kind of be incremental updates to what we're flying now with this latest generation of drones.
I agree, Ron. I agree with you 100%. And that's why I went ahead and I made the decision not only get the Mini 5 Pro, but also get the Mavic 4 Pro with the RC, the Creator combo with the RC Pro 2 controller, because
the best controller we've ever seen. Yeah.
Just absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I encourage you guys, read through my notes in the description for the sellers that I've listed and check them out. Okay, do that investigation on your own. Okay, don't just take my word for it. Go in there and look at them and look at recent feedback, like Ron said, especially when it involves the product that you're buying, a drone. Okay,
but I don't know anybody close to us that got kind of shafted by ordering from the. I think
no, I haven't heard of anybody either, Ron. I haven't, and also, so like I said, I also showed too that accessories are available.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have that opportunity. Plus, you have a way of being able to update the drone with DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones. So you have all that available to you. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care.
Good night.